Hello and welcome to the Q&A for The Story of My Wife with filmmaker Ildikó Enyedi. First, welcome back to Toronto, Ildikó. In the past, we've shown several of your films, including My 20th Century in 1989, Magic Hunter in 1994, Simon the Magician in 1999, as well as On Body and Soul in 2017, where we last saw you in Toronto on stage, and you gave us so much of your time and wisdom. So welcome back. We're really looking forward to discussing the film with you.
I'm very happy to be here, even if only virtually.
We'll do our best. I would love to start by asking, when did you first read Milán Füst's The Story of My Wife, the book on which the film is based?
Well, I was a teenager. I was a very bookish teenager, and not just this novel, everything what he wrote was such a discovery. I think all of us, we know that sort of feeling when you read something which is much more articulate than your thoughts, but you say, yes, yes, it's exactly how I think about life, how I think about the world. So it's a very rare treasure. And that's why this author remained very important for me for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And it's your 9th feature film, but your first English language production. What motivated you to do this film in English specifically?
Well, in the novel, the author is playing very much with the archetypes, with the European archetypes. Mm. It's not, Europe is not like the United States, for example, this sort of melting pot. It's like a patchwork. We have very strong local cultures, and this novel is very much based on it. This is about the marriage, very how to say? I'm sorry?
Unconventional?
Unconventional and surprising sort of marriage of a freighter sea captain and a French woman, not just a French woman, but a Parisian woman. When you put this into film, you have to think about, but how the hell these two people will speak with each other? Mm. On the cargo boats, on these big Hansa boats, the usual language was the English, and everybody spoke it in a broken English, because these were international teams, guys coming from all over the world. And for a French lady, for a Parisian society lady, it was quite possible that she got English lessons. So, for example, she's Léa Seydoux is speaking a tad stronger French accent than her normal English. Mm-hmm. And for sure, we kept a very strong, very rude Dutch accent for Gijs Naber, the sea captain, because we worked a lot on this the linguistic side of the film, because here this is a communicational language for everyone, for all the protagonists. They use it to communicate. It's not their mother tongue.
Mm-hmm. You're mentioning some of the cast, and I'd love to focus a little on that. So you had Gijs Naber as Captain Jakob Störr, Léa Seydoux as Lizzy, and Garrel as Dedin. Did you have them in mind from the beginning? What was your process of gathering your crew like?
Actually, very strangely, Garrel was my very first choice, and I didn't have a second idea. What he represents, this sort of nonchalance, this sort of smart, bitter humor, quick mind, irony, what he represents also in French culture. He's very much rooted in French and Parisian culture. It was everything what I needed for Dedin. Dedin, by the way, is a very speaking name. It means in French. The name is written differently in Hungarian, but as you pronounce it, it is really expressing very much this sort of guy who is so maddeningly different for Captain Störr. Störung, that comes from German. It's disturbed. It means so. Even the names are very much speaking in the novel.
Well, there are so many intense and very romantic scenes in the film, and I'd love for you to talk more generally about your approach to working with actors. What were the rehearsals like?
Well, this doesn't start as a love story. It starts as a sort of game. Captain Störr, who is used to very logical and pragmatic approach to life. On a boat, you have to resolve the problems really quickly. He got an idea that if he marries, then his stomach problems will be resolved. So he says, who knows, let's try it. That's the way he's functioning. As a game, he starts this, and he meets, at his big surprise, a lady who is perhaps an even bigger player than himself. So it starts as an alliance of two lonely souls, very much different from each other, but actually inspired and compelled by the difference. They are curious of each other. It's not love at first sight. They just appreciate this sort of very different sort of energy in the other person. And step by step, it becomes love and passion and so many other things. So this is a film, not all the films are like that, but this is a film which needs rehearsals, needs discussions, which needs to go deep. And as I went for, after hesitation, I went for a very classical film language where the slightest details are telling, in fact, the hidden main story, the heart of the film. These conversations were really very much necessary. And it was a very nice traveling into their personal life, into sharing experiences with each other. And for sure, we had rehearsals, the three of us, I mean, Gijs and Léa and me, but we had conversations separately as well. Because in this film, and it was especially tricky and difficult for Léa, we never ever enter for a second in the female perspective. We want to enter in it, we want to penetrate, we want to understand as much as Captain Störr wants to understand it. Actually, all his efforts, or his clumsy and not very successful efforts, are going in this direction. And we share this sort of wish with him. So it is not a small task to play a person who is not just some femme fatale, some beauty with some secrets, but a very full three-dimensional person who we really wish to understand. So we had some separate conversations with Léa to build this sort of intensity, this weight in her character, to really put in the center of the film this sort of closed box, let's say, per person.
This is actually something I really loved about the film. At first, you know, you've made so many films with female perspectives and the female psyche, and I'm thinking specifically of your first film, My 20th Century, which explores these female characters throughout and so deeply from different perspectives. And so when I was watching Léa act, at first I was frustrated that we don't know about Lizzy, and then I realized how much acting she was really doing in her passivity, and it completely captured me in this moment of the film. I think it was exceptional. So thank you for this.
You know, I called her in myself the sort of Zen teacher for the captain, because a Zen teacher is not explaining you anything, never showing you the direction, but is giving impulses, and sometimes quite cruel impulses. You know, the disciples, I sometimes get a hit on the head with a heavy stick. So somehow, with her help, with her very indirect help, the captain is going through a very complex process. First, losing everything which made him strong and competent and sure of himself. But this is necessary to arrive somewhere much more interesting. And at the end of the film, that's what I loved so much in the novel as well. At the end of the film, he not just understands, but also embraces and likes this sort of nature of life, that it's not a problem if you don't understand everything. It's not a problem. It's, first of all, it's not about understanding, it's about control. We are taught from kindergarten to be in control of yourself, of the other person, of the world around you. Actually, we nearly killed this planet already because we really wanted to control everything. We have to change it. So somehow I feel it's such a burning problem today. This sort of change of perspective. And I thought it's perhaps worthwhile to enter in the perspective of all these men who nowadays, when the rules of the game, the rules of how to live our life together are changing, they are perhaps perplexed and clueless. And they were told that if you are not in control, you are wrong. You are a loser. You are doing something wrong. You are missing something. And it's not true. It's like, that's what the captain is doing somehow. And that's what I wish for so many men. Just relax the muscles, you know, and just, instead of managing your life, just live your life and appreciate the secret and appreciate the beauty of how mysterious the world around you is. Yeah.
That's really beautiful and well said. It actually brings me to want to ask a bit more of a political question. So in addition to being a filmmaker, you're also an educator, as is clear by how generous you are with not just talking about film, but about the world and about philosophy. And recently, you resigned from the University of Theatre Film Arts in Budapest. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in Hungary and what prompted your decision?
Well, it's what happened can be told in two ways. It can be a very sad story, and it can be a beautiful story. So let's choose the beautiful one. The University of Film and Theatrical Art, it's a 155 years old institution, and very, very poor. It was very, very poor, but really, really very competent. And all of us who worked there, we worked for love and passion, for working together with young people. Was deprived of its autonomy, and the students, and that's the beautiful. It's not the teachers who started it. The students, they just didn't accept it. And the day when the autonomy of the university was taken away, they occupied the university. And they stood guard, and they created, they didn't just protest, they created a learning republic. They decided everything by vote. So somehow in a really side street, really small side street of Budapest, the original base democracy of the Greek polis was tried out as a model and was functioning. It was functioning beautifully. It had lots of work, and parallelly they protested through artistic projects, so through quality, through beauty, and through art. Unfortunately, the occupation had to be finished because of the COVID, but instead of that, so the university was taken away, and that's why I resigned. And later, more than 30 teachers resigned as well. We founded the free SFA. SFA was the name of our school. Now we have, with no money, with no fixed building, nothing, just with wonderful students and the old teachers, we founded this sort of creative hub where we can continue to work together. And many European universities from Salzburg, Vienna, Germany, even from Poland helped, and they are giving the normal academic diploma to our students. So the solidarity worked. So it's a beautiful, uplifting story.
Well, we're with you with all of our hearts. I'm obviously your biggest fan.
It's so touching to see.
Thank you for joining us. I hope we will see you in Toronto soon. We love the film. We love you. You have all of our support. Thank you.
Thank you so much.